Before we begin today's story, remember one powerful idea. Something the part that looks like floor to the world is actually is beginning of generations. Today's story is not just history. It is a deeply educational and inspiring story and conscious choice and believing in your own part even when everyone else says you are one. In this story, you will discover where following your choice city can change your entire life. How floor can scarcity become the foundation of success, where learning only can create idea that change the world. And by the end of the history, you will understand an important lesson. Greater ideas are often born when someone refuses to stay inside the limit created by society. To let begin in the year 1929, a young man named Dosping Campbell returned to America after spending 2 years in Europe. Originally, he had gone to Paris to study medieval intelligence, but something in exported happiness. Instead of studying only one subject, Campbell became fascinated by everything. He studied Sanskrit, the ancient language of India. He explored modern art, Poisoponigo, and the tourist of Kurt Jones. He read the completed work of James Joyce. He became deeply interested in India, mythology, great legends, and ancient story from many cultures. When he finally returned to Columbia University, he extended toward his academics, advanced about his plan. He wanted to study all of three subjects together, but the professionals shook their hearts. They said you cannot study everything. Academic department have boundaries choice on subject, but Cambodia believed something different. He believed that all two subjects were connected somehow. When the university reformed his idea, he made a decision that shook everything. He walked out from Columbia University. He never returned just 2 weeks later. Something history happened. The stock market carried beginning the great description on of the world's economic crisis in modern history. Suddenly millions of people were unemployed and there was Cambodia with no digest, no job, and no clear picture. No everyone around him it looked like his life was feeling a point, but Cambodia made a strong and choosing decision. Using the little money he had saved from playing Scopon in a student job brand, he returned a small one shop a window store New York. The shock had no running water. He had no career plan, but he had something else so city. Cambodia created a sports daily routine. He devoted his day into 4 blocks of time. Their blockade were dedicated entirely to reading. The late block was free. Their messed he was recording name house every single day and he continued their routine for 5 years. Imagine that 5 years of intensity recording. Besides, very few people were viewing book drawing the description Cambodia write letter to publish it asking for reading copies. They sent him shock at book. He told himself Russian because he wanted to read war and place in its original language. He studied Sanskrit account Martin's Alfred Flockhally Native American story, medieval European Logons Greece, Eponsis and the Tears of King Aeropist. But Cambodia was not simply recording many subjects. He was searching for something deeper. He was trying to discover a partner happiness behind a human story. In 1931, he left Warsaw and traveled to California. There he met two remembered thinkers, the right John Steinbeck and the Mariana Blumengast. He researched their main spirit long everything, discouraging Blossomphalia, Scoency art, and the notice of human life. Cambodia later said that drawing the far side, everything in his mind finally started coming together. He began to see the partners he had been searching for eternity. Cambodia returned to the aged choice and apologized at 30 colleges for a teaching job. On by every single college rejected him, fervently rejection, but finally one person believed in him. His old advisor from Colombia personally helped him Scott a teaching posting as Scott's Lewargency College in 1934. Cambodia would teach there for 38 years. Years earlier, in a personal journey written in 1932, Cambodia had writing. Something interesting, he said. I began to think that I have a gunners for works like an ox over thoroughly irrelevant subject. At the same he thought he must be wasting his life, starting toast no one cared about, but he was not one. He was simply a son of his time. In 1949, Cambodia published it in book titled The Hero with a Toast Faced. In this book, he introduced a revolutionary idea. He around that every ground story in every color flowers. The psalm starts a hero reborns a call to advance. The hero liberates the family wards. They faced thirst, choices and enormous. They transfer toast stone and finally they return with wisdom or power that benefits other. Cambodia called this university story partner the monuments. Today we can know it by another name, their hero journey. At first, the book did not become very popular. Most academic scholars ignored it, but many years later, a young filmmaker named Gortist Lucas discovered Cambodian work. Logos using Cambodian idea to show the story of a film called Star Wars. When the movies become a golden global Poemina looks open side that California hero January had influenced the entire story of the story. Suddenly Hollywood stories become fascinated with California idea. Screenwriting story with work. Phil School began teaching his storytelling stories and the forced hero January entered the language of modern storytelling. Jopist Cambodia faced in 1987, but he possibly he lived by continue to inspiring millions of people. He summarized had life wisdom in their simply world inspired by snake cheat technologies followed by whales in other world. Follow the path that fills you with curiosity, passion, and meaning. This is something that read that look including in actually the one that leads to the Gatars discovery and long before the world recognized his idea. Johannes Cambornia had already proven the toast quality reading book inside a small old shop in Osho. Listen of that story. Never understand current city, never be afraid he exported many ideas and never believe it that learning in a waste of time. This the technology you created today. Many become the idea that choice the world tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Friend, become will continue. Today story remember that powerful tools get our discovered are not made by people who follow the keyword. They are made by people who get to follow their choice city in part on sale on job price. California lived university lived in a small shop in Woodshop and spread 5 year reading. Those trend of book searching for the hidden connection between a human story. But what happened after that in even more fascinating, this is the real January of jobs. Cambodia was only beginning. So today in part 2 we will discover how with strong ideas slowly began to influence the world where filmmakers and write pieces objected with his work, and how on simply Canapstate changed modern storytelling forward. So let's continue the story. After years of intense recording and think Jones Cambodia finally began teaching as escorts Lewansi choice in 1934. In like most professors, Cambodia did not teach only on subject. His conscience were very different. One day he must talk about Greek mythology. Another day he must exploited his possibility. The midnight connected used idea to finality, litany and religion. At first many people were confused. Where was we mixing too many subjects together? But his students slowly realized something extraordinary. Cambodia was slowing that the human story from different colonial were deeply connection. For decided he continued teaching resourcing and things about his my story connection. Then in 1949 he finally publishing the book The World Chose His Life. The book was called His Hero with a toast facet. In this book Cambodia president a book idea. He around that every hero story in every closest follower the same beside partner. It did not matter it the story came from ancient Greece, India, Africa, no native American trips. The instrument was allowed. Smallest first the hero received of a call to advance. At first the hero often refused or hesitates, but everything the hero choosing into as in unknown world. The calm, the threat choosing in amongst fear and difference lesson. Toast they are strong, the hero transformation and become strong. Finally, the hero returns home with new wisdom, power of technology, the wind filled other. Cambodia called it that university partner of men omensed. Today the world can known it as the Hero January. But when the book was first published, something surprising happened. Very few people found attraction. Most attachments scholars ignored it. To them, Campbell ideas seem to usual, but Grant's ideas something take time to grow. Years later, a young filmmaker named Ghost Lucas discovered Grammy's world. Lost was trying to create a new king of movie, a modern mighty for the world. When he read Cambodia idea about the hero January, everything suddenly made sense. Let's usual that is contents to build the story of a film called Star Wars. In the movie, a young hero named Luke Skywalker received a call to advanced level to ordinary world, face dreams to learn from mortality and finally returns transformation. The story profoundly followed Cambridge hero January. When Star Wars was relaunched, it began one of the most successful movies in history, and suddenly people began asking a question: when did the powerful storytelling stories come from? Grace Loganst give the answer. He opened his side. The Japanese Cambodia war has inspired the entire story. Almost overnight, Cambodia idea spread as soon as the world Hollywood stories began. Storytelling is fearless. School outing school started teacher the hero January. World's filmmaker and storyteller realized that Cambodia had discovered something universal about human imagination. What began as a strong idea developed by a man reading book in a cold shock had now become one of the most influential storytelling connected in history. Jopins Cambodia continued teaching and sharing his idea for many years. In interview and lectures, he reported a simply possibility that against his life. His world there he borrowed from ancient script technology. Follow your wills. By he wants something very simply but very powerful. Follow the parts of fields you would join city. Follow the words that extruded your mind and script. This is when you follow then parts, even if it looks inconscious. At first, it often leads to the most meaningful discoveries. Jobs Cambodia faced you in 1947, but his idea ends still alive today. Every time you watch a movie where a hero labeled him face it, Challenge grow strong at returns transformation. You are since the influence of Job's Cambodian lesson of the story. Great's idea do not allow come from us. University of powerful institution something they come from a changing mind a cold place and years of parents learning. Just Cambodia did not try to flow the world. Instead, he followed his curiosity, and by doing that, he helped the world understand the story beyond every story. Thank you for listening, friend. Thank for watching, and please like, comment, share.